that we need to move forward and then kind of take it from there with an eye to like being efficient. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Okay, I dropped our agenda into the chat. And the first item there is that we need to approve Mari and Ellie to move to the Public Art Advisory Committee. I didn't realize that we had to do that in exec. Mary just let me know that it's a procedural thing. So I would like to nominate Commissioner Kevorkian and Commissioner Manfield to be seated in the Public Art Advisory Committee for the 2021. Thank you, Commissioner Henry. Can I get a second? Or wait, I got him. That's my motion. I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone recused? Do we got to call the roll, Tina? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so. We don't normally do this kind of thing.
No, I didn't know if we have to vote on it during the MAC meeting too. Do we need to still do that?
No.
Or are you just doing it for exec?
We can nominate. I think we just had to like do that.
Okay. All right.
Hi, Mary.
Okay.
Nice.
So I guess, yeah, I can call the roll.
No, I think it's fine. I think I just had to like make sure that everybody was in agreement that we're going to nominate them. And I don't think we have to vote on this nomination. So,
okay.
Can somebody send Mandy the Teams link? Okay. The second item, well, I guess let me just quickly say that we did extend applications through March because Ahava has a line on Perpich alumni that she wants to explore. So she asked for us to do that. So we did do that. I haven't seen anything come in. We also have a really good amount. I think we have like 5 or 6 applications, just so everyone's aware that advanced to like, we thought we should interview them. We're doing all of those. It's Mandy, Mari, and I. So Mari jumped in, which is cool. Cool to see her jumping in. I'm really excited about that. So we're going to interview all those folks on Friday. And all those times are set up. Thank you, Tina Beach. So that's cool. The only piece of bad news I have is that Paulo has what do you call that? Reversed his application. He had some families
recused. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had some family stuff, so he can't advance. So that's unfortunate. I think he would have been good as someone, a first generation person in our downtown, but wish him well. He got to do what he got to do. Okay. So I think right now we have everybody seated. Jeff, I do think that you need to pick. I know you're on exec, but I think you do need to pick like public art, ALT policy, or access at some point. Okay. But we're not. We want to get you seated by March, but we also we don't have rules around that.
Okay. When would you like an answer? I wasn't sure if exec counted or needed to do something else, which is fine, totally fine. I just wanted to tell me timing on when I need to make a call.
It was hi Mandy. It was our hope that we would get everybody seated by our March meeting, but at the same time, I didn't reach out to you. So my opinion is whenever you're ready is whenever we want you to do that.
I'll give you, I'll respond by tomorrow. Is that fine?
Oh, yes, you can. And I hope that, I'm not asking.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. I'm good.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, next item, Vice Chair updates.
Hello, it's me. So I wanted to say goodbye, but then also kind of review the things that I was working on, and some of the things I have to say with the exec committee were between me and Joan. And, if this is, an uncomfortable thing to share some of the things we're working on, Joan, let me know. But one of them being the civil rights communications with Franklin Reed, the interim director at the city. I haven't heard from them. I actually emailed both him and Miss Reed because she is running or holding presentations for Street. And I thought that we could set her up for March's meeting, even if I'm not at the March meeting, to make sure that the commission understands what Street is and what the intentions are, and then see how we can, implement that in our communications with the city or the residents or between each other, And so I haven't heard back, and I understand, it's the case. Derek is, going to trial, and that's necessary. And I feel like, it could be that and many other things. I have no idea. But just to let you know, Joan, I haven't heard back to let him know that I'm leaving, and to check in, like, are you okay with working with Joan? And then are other people on the commission. Do you feel comfortable working with someone else? And who, if it's a person of color, we got Jeff, and he's on the exec committee. I wanted to kind of punch in that, but I haven't heard back. And I feel like maybe I should put it in writing. What do you think about it? How do we proceed?
Here's my suggestion, and I'm open to feedback. Because I met with Franklin Reed with you, and I felt like that went really well, I'm happy to just pick that up. But maybe right now we just give a little air space and, time to, like, they're probably really, really bogged down. I know I'm assuming that, but I'm assuming that from like a really good place. Like, I bet that work is important right now with whatever's going on with the trial. So
Right.
I will make it a goal on my to-do list, and you can count on me to reach out to him at the end of the month and ask him when he thinks would be a good time for us to follow up and meet. So that's Franklin. I think with the Streep director, Janae, if you could delegate that to one of your access colleagues,
Okay.
and make that introduction. Could you do it next week? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then I think we take it from there. If anybody needs help, if you need support or anything, I'm happy to do it. But I think your access ALT should be able to, someone there should pick it up. Because I think it's actually literally in the work plan goal, right? To like advance this.
Yes, but then I didn't know if they were updating the work plan. So I feel like that's on the agenda today to look at, right? All the ALT.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if it's still on there, it could have got moved off. I'm not gonna, force
I
people
didn't receive an update from Access Group about the work plan. So I didn't receive anything. So I'm assuming that what's on there is what's on there. And if but if not, yeah. I mean, I think it's okay. Okay, well, let me know if that feels undone to you, but I think delegating to an access team member and then me taking Franklin Reed, I think we are covered. Yeah, I appreciate you making sure that happens. And then I know that we are bringing Lisa back to potentially be vice chair for the remainder of the year. So I'm gonna have a conversation with her about that, because I love that you kind of forced that issue, Janae. I'd like to believe that you did that as a position of love for me.
Yeah, for support. I understand if no one needs to fill the space or the void, but I also feel like fill it up, because the chair has a lot. You got a lot, just like you said, as we entered the meeting today. You got a lot going on, and yes, it's volunteering. So anybody who has the capacity to do it, just hop in here, because there's so much to do. And not we, but I feel like Mac, y'all might end up looking at each other across tables and stuff, later on this year. And so there'll be more opportunity to do things. And I think a vice chair early on would be smart instead of waiting. But I guess, I don't know, Tina and Mary, if that matters, if August or any new people coming in, it doesn't matter what quarter. No.
And we didn't have a vice chair position in my tenure until you became that, because it made a lot of sense. We were kind of going co-chair with Hannah the year before, but then that didn't work out with her. And we didn't, and then it was brought to my attention that there is no such thing as a co-chair for this body. So yeah, so that's cool. That's all right. But what I do know is that being able to have somebody to have it as a sounding board both ways on exec, and I also will say, Lana, I want to give credit where credit is due. Like, Lana in the secretary roles, stepped up so much, and is doing so much stuff to just keep us on track, keep track of our documentation, and doing kicking in with it's been great. Lana, you've done a lot of really, really good work and innovation, so that's been helpful. So I think those senior exec roles are actually pretty important, especially with just how much uncertainty we're always facing, and how ambitious we are. We're pretty ambitious yet. So, and that's a good thing. So thank you though. And thank you, Janae. I know you didn't want anybody to make a big deal out of it, but it's I just would be amiss to say you've been really incredible to work with. I know that whatever you decide to do in the future is going to be met with success because you're so talented and you're so smart and an empathetic leader in many ways. So you're really great at what you do. So yeah, I wish you the best. Okay, so question. We have 2 more things to do tonight. We just have to make sure that our work plans are tight, and I think they mostly are. I think the only one we actually have to look at is access to make sure that we've got, because I didn't actually get that. So let's just look at that. But otherwise, our exec work plan, I feel good about it. I shared it with you guys. I got some feedback, not much. It makes sense. Policy gave me the work plan. Mary's been cooking up some really cool projects with policy changes. So that's been incorporated in there. So I'm happy about that. That looks great. Public art is basically unchanged. I sent that work plan ahead. It's just like those advisory meetings that we do anyway once a month that Mary leads. And then, us trying to advocate to seat people on panels, like to get MAC representation for temporary placemaking public art type projects and opportunities within the city. So like if the Our Town grant advances, if, some of these different opportunities open up, we always want like a commissioner on those decision-making panels. There hasn't been one for quite a while. So, and we share those opportunities. Sometimes there are honorariums attached. There's different ways that like the different, so that's in the public art advisory work plan. So that'll stay the same. And then moving things to a consent agenda, which we do, but I think we don't have to be super hardcore about because there's been some big work like the service building work has been, like we care about that stuff. It's been a lot of work to get that together and to move that into completion. So I think we'll do consent agendas to a point, put it that way. If something really seems like it's worthy of discussion or we just want to make it visible, we should be doing that with the public art projects. So that's all I'll say about that. So for access, does everybody have the chat like function or not?
I pulled it up on my phone.
Okay. So I'll just drop it in and I'm guessing that it's going to be the same. And if you guys don't know, then I would say, let's get this tight before we meet because we're going to adopt these work plans at our next meeting. So, can
I just say something real quick? Because I know we had some problems getting Lisa to communicate via our Teams chat and access and engagement in the channel.
Okay.
But it sounds like Crystal wants to take over as chair or as the chair of it, which is awesome. But I don't think that there was much communication because we were all we didn't know if we were allowed to do email because we wanted to be like, I think that was a question of, do we go through Teams? What do we do with it? So there wasn't there wasn't a meeting for the access engagement crew.
That's okay. We might want to have a conversation. With that being said, we might want to have a conversation and ask if Crystal should join exec versus Lisa. I mean, Lisa just has all this like lengthy experience, but if Crystal wants to chair access, that might be a better role. I'll take that as an action step. I'll talk to both of those people.
I said that I would be backup if Crystal didn't want to, and she was like, "I'll do it," and I was like, "Woo!" So either way, if she doesn't want to, if she can't do it, I can still communicate with you guys with her.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can be. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want her to feel pressured to not lead because she can't do the exec as well. You know what I mean? Like I want to still be.
Do you want to just take that offline, Mandy, and just let me know what your thoughts are about that, and we can make a good decision. Do you guys trust us to be able to navigate that? Okay. Awesome.
I also wanted to ask about since Tina's on the line with us to see if what is the process? What can we do, or what can they do since you're here?
Oh, sure. I talked to the clerk's office about a year ago about that. So you guys can meet offline as long as it's not a quorum. So if it's like a group of 4 or 5 commissioners, you guys can meet offline. You can do it on Teams or you can email.
You can do Zoom too. You can do whatever platform you want. It's not.
Quorum is 6.
Yeah.
Or 5.
Yeah. Let's see. I think we have 11. We have 11 or 12. Yeah, and so these access groups, there's no more than 4 or 5. Is that correct? Currently?
Well, I didn't know if it would change with the new commissioners coming in, so that's why I just wondered what the number was exactly.
Okay, so as we add commissioners, that number will increase. So if
Right.
there's 15 commissioners, the quorum would be 8. So if it's less than 8, then that's fine.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah,
Oh.
as the numbers increase, yeah. So it's 1 plus half plus 1 person is a quorum.
So use whatever platform you like.
Okay, I will reach out to both of them too, because I know we tried this last week to get Lisa's Gmail account because she wasn't having luck with her other one. So,
Okay.
but now
And
we'll
then-
just go back to WhatsApp because we were using Zoom
Yeah.
because
Use what you like. And then Mandy, can you take this work plan and just say, hey, gang, like any changes because we're gonna have to present this.
Yeah.
Mandy, I'm gonna pass it to you because you're here. If
Yeah.
that's okay. I don't want to make you feel pressure or anything, but
Yeah,
like
I got you.
get it together, and then like if you want to make any changes, if you need any help or support or want to run questions, I'm available to you. I don't know that you would, but if I'm just saying,
Sure.
but otherwise just say, are we down with this or do we want to change this and work over email however you want?
That sounds fair.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask if Mandy, could you add a couple of things? So Joan sent you budget allocations a long time ago, and I didn't know if you were picking that up or if that was like, we're leaving that alone. But a part of that was could be the things added to Access and Engagement's work plan.
Yeah.
So that includes the venue spaces, so like, I feel like if they have a budget, then they'll know if they can invite venues or arts programs and communicators, artists to talk to.
Artist stipends for like
artist stipends, yeah.
Yeah.
To talk to the meetings once a month while we're virtual, and then the other one was to see if if the panel is still a no, what about speaking to George Floyd artists? With Mari being one of them, if that's a conversation or something to add into the work plan for the year. Mandy, there was another one about, a raffle or like a drawing, but I didn't know, what the budget situation was going to be and if that needed to be added to the work plan as part of what the group would do for quarter works.
Yeah. What the budget situation is that sorry, Mandy, you're so cute.
It's a lot of action out front, and we're getting used to having the dogs walk by now, and my dogs are losing their minds, so I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. That's cute. Oh, Jeff just said he'll join Access and Engagement. Sweet. That'll be great. All right.
Thanks,
so Mandy, include Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. And then I would say, per our previous discussions, it was felt that Access was the right place for a budget request to exist because of the external facing work that the group intends to do. So, but we need the request. So we need to know, like, if you want to do, like, I know that we want to have a way to speak to artists that have done work at the city. So then do we allocate $150 honorarium for their time and have them come and talk to the group? What does that look like? Whatever that looks like. There's some information in this work plan, but just kind of get that straight. And if you want to look at an old budget, we've got the budget from last year that was, we got that approved and everything like that. We didn't end up using it for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, and again, it's uncertain.
I'm assuming it's on the Teams where we're holding all our.
You can find it and email it or forward it so you don't have to dig through.
I just wanted to avoid you having to do that work, because if it's on Teams, I can just go in and grab it. That's all I meant.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It should be, but I don't.
I'll look. How about I'll look, and if I can't find it, I'll ask you to do it. Then you don't have to do extra work.
Oh, you're sweet. Okay, that sounds good. And happy to do that. Okay, so that said, I think we're.
So, Joan, could I just add something to that budget request? I think
course.
it's not just about what do you want to do, but why would someone want to give you money to do it? Like, what are you going to do with that? Like, so you're going to ask artists to come and talk to the commission that have worked with the city. Why would that, what impact will that have on the city? Like, what are you going to do with that information? Why is that a good idea? I think you need to make a case for it, right? Like,
yeah.
Are you going to then write up a little document summarizing the key issues that they are having and share that with the city council? What are you going to do with that? Why is it an important thing to do?
Mary, they So before I joined the commission, that was an incentive, or like not an incentive, an event that was already in the works. So I believe Crystal, Lawrence, Lana, I think was a part of that. Mandy, I'm assuming, was a part of that also. So I do feel, Mandy, is there a write-up on Teams?
I believe it's in our, I believe it may actually even be in our bylaws that we have to have one engagement event a year that the MAC does. I can look it up so we could cite that.
It's in the ordinance.
It's in the ordinance.
You have to have one public meeting, a public meeting a year, like where the public can speak to you.
Okay, and so there's that, and so we can cite the ordinance. But then for the being able to get input from artists about their experience working for the city, where what worked for them, what didn't work for them. I would speak to just it being a level of checks and balances of like allowing artists to be able to provide us with some just information about their experience and what worked and what didn't work, so that we might be able to make suggestions and recommendations for working with artists. I mean, I'm
kind of surprised or a little disappointed that this doesn't sound familiar to you, Mary, but it's okay. There's a lot going on at MAC. But this was something that was visited several times, even last year.
I know MAC has been talking about meeting with artists, and MAC has been talking about more. What I've heard about is doing a focus group with artists,
right.
Not having individual artists come to MAC meetings. So
Right.
I know that MAC has been talking about that. I think it still is, what is the deliverable? What does the city get out of it? I don't know if I've heard that much about what that's going to be.
Well, one of the things that I have real concerns about is just the ability for artists to provide feedback that the city receives. So I think that as a function alone is something that I've heard is important. And so the commission to be able to take that role, so that they're not providing the feedback directly to the people that they've been accountable to, and staff positions, that they can actually speak more freely, and provide that, whatever feedback they're going to give us, that maybe, hopefully would help to inform any changes that could come, or any opportunities that we might be able to see. So, it's just a feedback loop, really. And that's healthy to do. So, okay, can you send me the link in Teams? Right.
Sorry, we can't chat. My bad. But
No, that's right.
I was just wondering if Lana could send us the link to the access and engagement, link to the Teams document. I can't find it, and I know you're a whiz in the Teams space. So
Sure.
if Lana could do that, that'd be awesome.
So I'm assuming I can find it in SharePoint and put it for you in Teams, but I'm no longer.
Yes. Sorry,
That's where it lives.
I'll be rolling on to policy after that, but I'll take a look at it from SharePoint.
I think we all have access to all of them, don't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
SharePoint. Yeah.
So you can just send me the blank SharePoint. I can't find it. I can't get it. Sorry, my bad. I was trying to follow along and see if there's anything else on the plan that, to take notes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thanks so much this meeting. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. It's all right. We're getting there. Okay, so any other questions about that? So the takeaways are that, Mandy, you're going to send that work plan to your group at Access. Also, please mention that, and you're going to find the budget. If you don't find it, you're going to let me know and I'll send it to you. I may just proactively send it to you, of last year's budget. To Mary's request, just, give a couple of bullets of what's going to come from the request for the money. So if it's doing a focus group with artists, then we're going to give them an open and safe space to share feedback about their experience working with the city. And that we'll share that information with our partners and our staff at the city, so that they might be able to see some opportunities or get some kudos. How about that as an idea?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. Okay, so I think we're set. I think we can move on. So I will be, Janae is not going to be at the meeting in March, is what I'm hearing. Is that right? Okay. So I will propose the exec work plan and just go through that. Lana, you will do policy. Is that right? I'm guessing. Okay. Mandy, you'll do access. Okay. And I will probably stick public art on David, I'm guessing. For now, okay, because he's good at that. Okay, so then the last order of business that we have to do for our meeting tonight is just approve our agenda for the meeting, unless there's something else that somebody has.
I just want to say, Jeff, I'll send you the things that I sent over to Lisa this past week about kind of what we just spoke about. So you're in the loop.
Okay, for access. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
Perfect. Thank you. That's super thoughtful. Okay, I will drop our meeting agenda in the chat here. Sorry, give me a moment. All right. So, here we go. Do you guys want me to share my screen, or do you want to just keep these in the chat here?
You can share your screen if you want.
I'm getting a spinning candy wheel.
Oh. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, majority, I'm fine. I have my phone up too. So if you see me look off,
Here it goes.
Phone. By the way.
What's that?
Who's on the phone?
Is there someone on the phone? I don't see anybody on the phone.
Oh, my computer just probably needs an update.
Okay. All right. Is there any volunteers to do a Women's History Month dedication for next week's meeting? I'll jump at once.
I just want to say that I love these dedication ideas. I think it's really super cool. Joan, I don't know if it was your idea or you stole it from somebody, but I really like it.
I stole it, and it was Janae gave it some wings. She brought it. She's a hard act to follow, and I think that's why we're not seeing any takers.
Agreed.
I'll do it. How about that? I'll do it. I'll just do a little something. I'm not gonna like write a whole thing like Janae just gave it 110%. So I don't have those kind of skills. Okay. So, but I'll do something meaningful. Okay. Thank you.
I think part of the problem is Janae did such a good job that nobody wants to volunteer because she's such a hard act to follow.
Exactly.
That's what we're facing.
I'm surprised, Mandy. I'm like, Mandy, performer, where you at, girl?
You don't get the time for what I want to do, so I haven't performed in over a year. It'll be an hour and a half, one-woman show. We don't got that.
That's so great. We need maybe rain check. Rain check on that. Okay.
Got it.
I'm deleting welcoming Commissioner Piera. That's sad. But okay. Then we're going to do commissioner introductions, staff and normal, right? Corrections for minutes. We're going to give an update about filling vacancies. By then we will have done all these interviews. We might have some really good news to share. That'll be cool. And we can talk about the deadline being extended. Sorry, I'm seeing that I have a bad network. So if I'm talking fast or slow, I apologize. And then we have just the work plan approval for each of the 4 committees, and then we adjourn. And Mary, did you have anything else you wanted to bring forward?
No, I don't have anything this month.
So this will be nice. Hi, Ellie. Nice to see you. We're kicking butt on purpose because nobody feels like sitting in a meeting on a Tuesday night when it's 60 degrees out. So, okay. Do we want to add anything? You know, is there something? I mean, I took out the city attorney letter because I'm just not ready to do it. And I don't think right now is a good time with everything that's happening. So I just struck that for right now. We don't need it today. We'll pick it up later. I got a little more energy and maybe there's a little more motivation. But does anybody else have anything they want to bring forward? Otherwise, this could be a nice tight meeting. Lana?
I would like to just add for the policy update that we're going to be asking for another round of outreach for council members. Whereas just a follow-up, right? Like we reached out, let's do it again and keep it as an active idea. So for policy, we're still working on the one sheet. We have, I think Ahava's waiting on one more commissioner bio and photo. But in addition to that, we want it to be, you know, something more meaningful, speaking to the values of MAC, why people should pay attention to us and, you know, a little thank you for our previous communication, if there was any.
I also think too, like, we're gonna have a work plan, right? Like, let's go canvas our work plan and get feedback, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea would be that we'd reach out to everybody once those are approved. So we can't do that until after the March meeting. So for policy, we'd like to make an ask that everybody reach out to their council members and report back if they hear back or if they reached out before the April meeting.
Voila. Can that be part of your work plan approval, or would you like a separate update line?
Yeah, I think it's part of our work plan because we have a timeline document too that we have that listed in. But if you want me to put it directly into the work plan, I can. I'm just asking that it be on the agenda for March, since it is a little bit more light beyond just the work plan update. It's more of a separate ask beyond that we're asking commissioners to do another outreach round.
Well, let's have that be item number 3.
Great.
Policy, what should we call it? Policy assignment. Policy.
Commissioner member outreach. Council member outreach, excuse me.
Okay. We also, it's really good right now with, I mean, think about how much has changed since we did our last amount of canvassing. Would be great to take another whack at, like, okay, we tried to get some traction with the audit committee. We know you guys are working on stuff. We don't know about it. What are you working on? What can we help with? Like, you know, just let's get another whack at that and assess, like, what's, you know, this is an election year. Let's leverage it. What's your policy platform for the arts? You know, Lana, I think that policy should maybe come up with just a couple of talking points. Here's our work plan. Do you have any feedback that you'd like to provide? Is there anything in here that you're curious to know more about or that you'd like for us to report back to you? We would like to know your policy platform for the arts moving forward for this election. Do you have some talking points that we can bring back to the commission?
Joan, I don't think you can ask that second question.
Why?
Because you are not as an independent board, an appointed board, you cannot get politically involved. Like in campaign.
We can ask them what their
you can as
people,
people, but not as an independent board. I would just be super careful about that. The council members know the rules around this pretty well, and I would just be, I mean, I think you can ask them not what their platform is, but I think you can ask them about
their arts agenda.
Their arts agenda, but be careful about wading into those campaign waters. There's laws that govern all of our role in that. You, as individuals, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, like, being that our ordinance states that we need to be included in all arts decision making, basically, I think that it's within our purview to ask them what their agenda is for the year.
Their agenda, yes.
Yeah, and what they're, you know, what they're advancing.
Yeah,
you know, we're supposed to know.
Absolutely.
They literally are supposed to tell us, so, like, by an ordinance, like, we're supposed to know, so I'm not going to shy away from the question. I'm not going to go out on my Facebook and say, Councilmember Fletcher is going to, like, make this big move to advance artists in the Northeast District, vote for him over the other guy. That's not happening. And we can have a little conversation about that, like, you know, what is ethical, what is unethical, what breaks the rules, because we cannot be campaigning with or for any of the electeds, and I totally understand that, but, like, they literally are sitting in the seats today, and, like, what they're going to do for 2021 for art and artists is not only our right to know, it's our job.
So are you going to tell them that you don't feel that the council and the staff have been using the commission or following the ordinance?
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, with the exception of public art, that's it. I mean, I don't know, has anybody else been consulted about anything besides public art in their time on the commission? I haven't.
Just outside of the George Floyd, but I wanted to bring up, I brought that up to my council members. So I encourage, you know, y'all to just ask the questions you want to ask, because you still live in the ward you live in. If you haven't, but I asked Jenkins, like, Mac is here, and what do you think about us, and why aren't you using us, and yada yada. So
yeah,
I mean, that's some of the most important information we can get. I'm sorry, Lana, go ahead.
No, I can draft a couple talking points around this. I'm just wondering, would it be appropriate if I sent those talking points to Joan and Mary just to review? If you have any red flags, please let me know.
Sounds good.
I'll also see if I can get information on the rules about this that I can share with you so you know what they are, as opposed to me just saying, you can't do that. You know what I mean? I need to look into it. I have to watch some video every election year that tells me how to behave.
Sure, you can send that to us. I think that's just a good refresher. I recognize there's boundaries and they're easy to cross, but I definitely think that like advocating for the Minneapolis Arts Commission to be aware of our electeds' arts agendas for the year is totally within our. It's like I said, it's not just something that we have a right to do. It's what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know.
So, and if they say we're going to vote for the consolidation of the arts staff and the creation of this arts department.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, you might want to just let like even one person.
Like, what's your talking point on that?
Why don't we know about it? How are we supposed to support it?
Because I think you might get that.
Yeah, we probably will get that. And I'll say, why is the Minneapolis Arts Commission being excluded from these conversations? What is the answer?
Because we're volunteers and there's no liability to take advantage of people you already exploit anyway.
That was said quite succinctly, but we might not want to load the gun with that, but okay. Seeing as you're already exploiting my labor, can I please ask you why you continue to do that? Okay, no, that's a little too, that's even more sharp-elbowed than I can be, Janae.
I apologize if that was inappropriate.
No, but it's true. I mean, I would like an answer. What? I mean, I think that that's a question. Why is the Minneapolis Arts Commission being excluded from the arts work group at the city? Just go ahead and answer that question. If your answer is no comment, that's an answer. So whatever. But let's go ahead and get the answers. Let's find out why. Like I said, it sucks to scream into the abyss that we want to help. You know, it's not very motivating. Okay.
And I really feel like, I'm sorry, I just want to add this, like our city last year showed ourselves in why public art or art is important in healing and in justice and in so many other things. So it's like, we need to continue, I feel, to carry it and not let it, you know, like, don't allow the city to forget that art matters. Bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Or like, if they don't know how to work with us, then like, let's have a process in which we define what that looks like. And if it takes the city attorney defining the ordinance and the definition of like, how do we get information? Does anybody here even know how we request information? Which like, as a commission, we should have a clear process for that. That should not be a mystery. Right? I mean, that should be just a basic thing that we understand, we know how to do. We can request information. I mean, it's basic. So that's a problem, in my opinion. But in the list of problems that we're navigating professionally, personally, and everything else, it's like, how much fight do you want to put into that? I don't know. But I also just think that like, these are basic things that we should have answers for. And we can collectively as a group say, if we canvass all of our electeds and they all say, you're not involved in decision making and I'm not utilizing the commission for X, Y, and Z, well, at least that's something, right? Like maybe we have to do some trainings. Like maybe we say, hi, we're the Minneapolis Arts Commission. Here's our background. Here's our skills and abilities. Here's the wards we represent. Here are the organizations within the city of Minneapolis we represent. Here's what we bring to the table. Here's how you can use us. Here's what we're capable of doing for you. Did you know that if you write a grant and you can actually show that you have like a volunteer advisory committee that supports what you're doing, that particular process actually creates a leverage for you to advance your agendas, that's a bonus, that's a value add? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe we just have to like spell it out.
I think that might be, so the reason I said what I said about what would you say if they said that I'm going to support the creation of this arts department and blah, 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 blah. The reason I said that was because I think last year when you went out to talk to them, you kind of went in the back door on the ordinance, right? You didn't say, we don't think the staff and the council are following the ordinance. You said, you asked them a question about the ordinance, right? You were being really super polite, but also somewhat indirect, right? And
We
so
just,
I think
we just asked if we felt like there was compliance.
right. So maybe instead, maybe one approach could be, if you want to be more engaged, is for you to actually make some recommendations for what that would look like.
Mhm.
Instead of saying this is not what's happening, and but to say this is what it would look like for us to be involved.
I think it's, yeah, I do think it's a yes and. I think identifying the opportunity and what's happening and how we're not being utilized, and then identifying the solution and how people can engage with us. Like for example, if Vice President Jenkins wanted to engage the Arts Commission, you would think as someone who has a history as a commissioner that wouldn't be a mystery. But okay, let's just assume that it is. Here's who you contact, connect with the chair, the vice chair, whoever on the commission. How about this? The individual on the commission who represents your ward. How about that? Have that person be the person that you're accountable to meet with, provide updates with. And when you have opportunities and you need some support from the Arts Commission, that's who you reach out to. And then our turnaround time is this, that, and that. And we can sit on your panel, we can participate in any advisory group meetings, we can provide a letter of support, but we can't know what we don't know. And so here's maybe the different ways that we could add value to your agenda. I don't know, right?
And you can talk about, this Commissioner Henry, I would say add the reasons, there are people on this commission who are artists, say what they do. There's people on the commission who are who work administration in the arts community, say what they did. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if maybe they're just oh, it's a bunch of people who live here, I don't care. Maybe give them an idea about who they're talking to and why we are valuable.
Yeah.
That might be.
I think that's kind of the strategy with the one sheet too, is that I think really showing our pictures, who we are. Some of us are recognizable, others. I think that our bios are impressive. Obviously, we were selected to be on this. We're pretty picky about who we pick to be on the commission, to be honest. We say no more than we say yes, and we live with open seats if people don't make sense to be on this commission. So we could describe how that process goes too. We got criteria. We really care about who the people are and the representation that exists on this commission. And here's how that manifests. I'm not sure. It's such a long-standing issue that I think we've tried to get after in so many different ways that it could use some fresh perspective. But I think that another pass with council members with some talking points, it's something we just have to do. We have to keep those relationships up. So let's be mindful about that. So, okay, I know I promised that we were going to get done super early and then we got into it. But I said if we were going to get into it, we were going to get into it, and I wasn't going to say no to that. So I hope expectations haven't been too disappointing here tonight.
Joan, can I ask one more question about the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
So last month you had a guest in the meeting. And I don't think the guest, who's also a potential commissioner, I don't think the guest came in at the very beginning. I could be wrong. So I don't think any of us noticed at the beginning of the meeting. And I think it would just be good to maybe have a little bit of conversation about how to manage guests in the meeting. How do you want to, so there isn't really time on your agenda for guests to address the commission, and when they enter, they don't really know what their role is. They might think they can participate in all the discussions. They might think they can just randomly ask questions. So I am wondering if it would just be helpful to have a conversation or an understanding about how to work with guests. Maybe even at the beginning of the meeting, say, although I think this person joined late, do we have any guests? And if so, this is what it means to be a guest in our meeting. Or you could even have like time on the agenda for guests.
We do.
You know, or
we have
something like that, but you responded really well to that situation, but I'm just wondering if there should be a little bit more thought about, because I think you might have a guest this month too, right?
Probably. I think we're going to probably have a lot of guests because there's a lot of applicants.
Yeah.
So we do have guest introductions in our introductions and updates portion of our agenda, and we keep them last intentionally because we get through kind of like all of the first introductions and updates with commissioners and staff. So I think, Mary, that's good feedback. If it's all right with everybody, I'm happy to say I would like to take a moment for guests to be able to introduce themselves. And if you could also tell us the reason for your visit today, and maybe we wing it from there. And I can just say a reminder that guests are not allowed to vote or, you know, participate in dialogue. If you feel like you want to make some comments, we'll reserve some time at the end of the meeting. How about that? Because we don't want guests popping. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to hear what people are thinking, but like that could get really.
No, but I also think they just don't know, right? They just don't know if they're there. Can they be part of the discussion?
Yeah.
You know, I think what you just said is really good. I just think to give it a little structure would be, and to, you know, we should maybe be just prepared for that to happen on occasion.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that maybe Tina and I should really be in charge of noting if people pop into the meeting, and at the right time, just say, "Hey, Madam Chair, we've had a guest join us," if they pop in.
Oh, sure.
So I think Tina and I could, you know, try to keep an eye on who's in the room.
Okay.
Because a lot of times the guests are, the guests are really calling in, so you can't tell who they are, right?
Okay, that's helpful. So the takeaway is when we do guest introductions, I'll say we would like to welcome any guests to our meeting this evening. This is an open forum meeting. If you could, please introduce yourself and the nature of your reason for visiting us this evening. And, you know, please keep that brief.
I don't think you mean for it to be an open forum, meaning they can, that you're going to have a time for everyone to talk.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
A public meeting.
Janae, yeah. Go ahead, Janae.
I was going to say, could you address it the same as you did when we were physically meeting? You said something really short at the top. Mm-hmm. And, you know, being that everybody was already in the door, mm-hmm. but if you had that dialogue from when we were meeting before, you could probably use that.
Yeah, I feel like I could just turn on the charm and be like, we have some guests, and like, what brings you to the MAC meeting this evening? And then like, if you have any comments at the end of the meeting, we'll reserve a minute or two for you to provide us with any feedback. How's that? Does that work? Okay, cool. Thanks. You never know, like that that's great feedback, because I hear what you're saying, that could get super weird. Like kind of almost like just in this like desperate waiting for Guffman moment for like some excitement and laughter. It'd be so funny if like somebody just got weird and started like telling us what we should be doing. It'd almost be interesting. Like, really? Don't anybody send anybody to do that either, just to make me laugh.
We're getting a plant. We're getting a plant, totally. We're going to test you this next week. Janae and I got a lot of friends out of work. They don't have anything but time.
They get a little bored, you know. They probably have some things to add. I don't know.
Just be like, excuse me, can I please add this to the work plan for the policy committee? All right. I'm sorry, you guys. Thanks for letting me be playful. All right. Does anybody have anything else? This is helpful. I think we're good with our agenda. I did make the changes, so I'll send it to Tina and we should be good to go. Anyone have any questions about kind of the bit of takeaways that we have from tonight? Got your list. If you need support, let me know. Otherwise, we're good. Oh, and Ellie, you missed that we did appoint you to the Public Art Advisory Committee. Yay! Thank you, Ellie. Okay, excellent. Any other questions, comments? Janae, be well. We love you. Take care.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for everything, Janae.
Thank you for everything.
I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
I gotcha. Stay in touch.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.